Hello there, it's Emma here. We're going to do some art today, and this term our theme at hospital school is equality. So, art for everybody, no matter what your background, no matter what your ability, you can all have a go at being creative. So, we're going to have a look at an artist today who's called Ruth Asawa. I'll hold up a picture of some of her work. So, she wasn't a painter, she was a sculptor, and she used wire like this on a reel, and she kind of like crocheted and knitted these big dangly sculptures, and they're great, they're massive, and when a light shines on them they cast amazing shadows. So we're going to be doing a piece of artwork inspired by Ruth. So she grew up in America. Her mum and dad were Japanese, and unfortunately she had a really tough childhood. There wasn't a lot of money for art materials and things like that, but she had some inspirational art teachers who really encouraged her. And then on a trip to Mexico, she picked up this technique of using wire and crocheting her amazing big shapes, her sculptures. And they're lovely. They hang down, they rotate, they turn, they have bright lights shining on them, and they cast amazing shadows all over the gallery wherever you see them. So we're going to make a moving sculpture that will also cast a shadow. So I'll point my camera down and we'll find out what we're doing. Right, so let's turn up the brightness a bit. There we go. So I've got a stamp pad here, and we're going to be doing some stamping on some card. We're going to make our own kind of patterns inspired by the crocheted and knitted wire of Ruth, okay? So what am I going to use? I'm going to use a yogurt pot. You need something with a round kind of pattern on it. Maybe a pop bottle or the lid of a milk bottle, okay? So I'm going to dip it in here, get it nice and inky, and we're going to simply print circles that overlap. If your circles aren't very dark, give your pot a little twist and you'll get a better result. There we go. So it's like we're doing rows and rows and rows of circles, and it kind of reminds me a bit of chainmail, you know, from medieval armour, that sort of thing. So it looks like all the circles are kind of knitted together, doesn't it? Turn the brightness down a bit. There we are. Right. So we can go on and on and on doing all of those. That's great. So you can do them in lines, or you might want to try a different pattern. You might want to do completely random pattern where you just place them wherever you feel. Doesn't matter what colour ink pad you've got. I've got black. Oh, if you haven't got an ink pad, what could you do? You could use some paint in a tray or a saucer, couldn't you? And dip your circle in there, okay? So straight lines here, kind of random pattern there. What else could you do? You could go around in a circle, couldn't you? Start off in the middle, like a spiral, and go around and around and around. It's a good workout for your arms. My muscles are getting bigger doing this. So sometimes it's nice to do a piece of artwork that's three-dimensional, isn't it? So something like sculpture. So this is a hanging sculpture, and this will spin and twirl in the breeze or in the wind, or if you give it a wiggle. Okay, so you get the idea. We go round and round and round. Brilliant. Whew, I can stop. Put the lid on there. Right, so can you remember the shapes that Ruth had in her sculptures? Let's have a look. They're kind of big and round, aren't they? And kind of almost, am I allowed to say blobby looking? So we're going to make some blobs now to hang on our sculpture. I've started off on here. Can you see? I cut out some blobby shapes. I cut out a blobby shape here. But what we're going to do is we're always going to cut out 2 blobby shapes, or maybe 4 blobby shapes, to make our hanging sculpture because we want it to twirl around, so we want to see it from different angles. Okay, so if we get our amazing piece of paper here, and then we're going to fold it together so the patterns are touching. I've just got some old card that I'm recycling here, so it doesn't matter that it's printed on one side. Make sure you fold it like this, because else when we stick our blobs together, they won't match if we don't fold it together. We're going to make mirror images of the shapes, okay? So you can fold it once to make 2 sides, or you can fold it again to make 4 sides. Let's just do 2 to start off with. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that my blobby shape, what should I do? I'll do one like Ruth has done. Whee! Kind of comes like that. Whee! There we go. Okay, so you can see I've got a blobby shape there. Now I cut it out. Only you know what shapes you want to do, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. Of course, you could just do circles. Draw around the bottom of a cup or something like that. Okay, so now I need to open this up, which seems to be tricky, and cut that bit in half if it's still joined, okay? And then I can fold it like this, and we've got our matching blobby shape, okay? Now we're going to attach these shapes, let's call them organic shapes, not blobby shapes. I'm going to attach them to a piece of string, okay? So I'm going to have a string going through the middle. So I've already got one organic shape on there. I need to put some glue on here and glue the other side on, okay? So that's how we're going to do it for a 2-sided shape. Like that. Okay, so there we go. That one's twirling around. Then we can be more ambitious. We can make a 4-sided shape. So this time we have to make sure that we've got 4 shapes which are all the same size, so they're all mirror images of each other. Can you see I've stuck 2 of those shapes together already? Now instead of putting it on my string and squashing it down flat, I'm going to stick the other shapes to it. Okay, turn that one around, boink. Put this one in here so that we can have a 4-sided shape like that. Can you see? It's got 4 sides to it. Okay, so I've stuck 2 together. It's a good idea now to stick it on your string. And if you've got a piece of tape, that might help to secure it on your string so it doesn't fall off, okay? Let's see if I've got some tape. Oh yes, there we go. Stick your tape on there. And then the last 2 we can stick together to make a shape like that, right? Make a T shape, and then we'll get this one and we'll stick it on there. So should we quickly do that so you can see what the end result's like? There we go. There's one. Put that one on there. And then the final bit, stick it all together. So the 2 T shapes go together. And we've sandwiched our string right in the middle. Brilliant. Oh, look, I've got one more organic shape to put down the bottom there. So let's put that one on there. So you can put on as many shapes as you like. You can use whatever colours you like. And the idea is that we'll hang this one up and we'll see it twirl and spin around. Shall I put the camera back up? So you can see, there we go. Let's have a look at the twirling one. Yeah, quite like it. And hopefully that will cast some shadows all over your walls. Be quite relaxing to look at. Okay, we'll have fun making your sculpture and I'll see you again. Bye bye.